This Holy Week, we asked several pastors in our Mosaic cohort how the resurrection shapes their understanding of peacemaking. Here's what they had to share.
Among the biblical authors, Luke uniquely emphasizes peace building, especially through the resurrection of Christ as the power that makes it possible. The story of the two disciples on the road to Emmaus in Luke chapter 24 highlights this. Though mentioned only once in scripture, Emmaus carries strong symbolic meaning. Historically, it was a place marked by violence, imperial oppression, and resistance, a site of military conflict, revolt, and Roman domination. It represents a world shaped by power, fear, and the cycle of violence. Luke structures this passage in a chiastic structure to center on the resurrection, and the key movement is this. The disciples turn from Emmaus and go back to Jerusalem, the city of peace. This reversal is deeply theological. The resurrection redirects you and me from the way of violence to the way of peace. It is God's power, the resurrection of Christ, that leads us into a new path, the path of peace. Happy Easter.
How the resurrection informs my understanding of peacemaking is this. There are, a number of ways, but I think at the core of it, it reminds me of who God is, that God came to earth in the person of Jesus to show us what love looks like, to show us what peacemaking looks like, to show us a better way than the cycles of violence and death and oppression. And he was put to death for it. But the Spirit of God raised him from the dead, and that tells me that God is the God who can raise the dead. God is the God who can do the impossible. And that means to me that love is stronger. It means that Jesus' way is better. And so no matter the situation, no matter how violent, no matter how intractable or long-running, the conflict, the injustice, I know what God is about. I know what God's Spirit is about. And I know that this God can do the impossible.
Hey, I'm Chad. I've been in the Mosaic cohort for about 6 months. And when I think about the resurrection and peacemaking, I'm not sure I would have put them together the way I am now. Part of this first year is getting proximate or close to people and stories and history of where injustice and pain and brokenness has taken root and is causing people to be pressed down and oppressed and marginalized. And when I think about Jesus after the resurrection, he didn't just say, hey, it's all good, I punched death in the mouth and it's over and nothing else to worry about. I think about moments like this one, John chapter 20, where and this is the famous one where we kind of grew up with this doubting Thomas, and it was this moniker that he had. I think it's unfair because in the verses just before, Jesus shows up in the room and says, peace be with you. And then it says, and then he showed them his hands and his side. I would say this first year has been about getting close to people, and in a very Matthew 25 kind of way, reaching out to touch their scars and to experience and hear their pain and learn that the gospel has something to say about that. It's not just about a future thing, that there is a here and now aspect to it. And so it has transformed my understanding of the resurrection and my responsibility as a follower of Jesus tremendously.